such a gorgeous campsite around here. I'm absolutely loving this place, eh? Well, there's dinner for tonight. Alright, now watch out for snakes, eh? Well, g'day folks, and thanks for joining me in another video. Man, it's a gorgeous day out here on the coast today. It's a really beautiful summer's day. The plan for this trip is just to spend an overnight here, find a nice place to sub camp, and we'll go for a spearfish later as well and try and catch ourselves something for dinner. But first call to action is let's go find a place to sub camp because it's pretty hot, so I'd like to get the tarp up, get in some shade, and then we'll jump in the water a little bit later and go catch ourselves something for dinner. We've got some big bass that I was showing you guys in the last video. So damn tasty. Oh, she is a warm one today. Just have a look at me. I'm absolutely dripping in sweat. I think I found a nice little spot to set up camp for the night. Just behind me, I got a nice little stand of Banksias, which is a nice tree to camp amongst because you don't really have that threat of falling limbs like you do with gum trees. So it should be pretty safe camp amongst these tonight. Also, all the trees are nicely spaced apart, so I should be able to string up the tarp and a hammock pretty easily. Also behind that shoulder, we've got the lake over there, we've got the beach over there. And then we're also just surrounded by burrowangs as well. So that's that plant behind me, it's called a burrowang. It's just a really beautiful area to camp, really liking it around here. But yeah, the legalities to camp around this area, this national park, is you have to be set back more than 50 metres from the coastline or from the lake. And I'm definitely more than 50 metres. So I think it should be a pretty nice spot to call home for the night. So let's get the tarp out of the bag and get that set up and try and get some shade for a bit because I'm absolutely cooking, eh? Just got my Alton Goods 3x3 metre tarp and hammock as well, so let's get that set up. Alright, so just for the ridge line, just got a bowline knot at the end to create a loop. Just run that around the tree. And then just run this line through that loop to create another loop. So I've got a loop there, and just put a stick or a toggle in it and just cinch that down, and that's nice and tight. And then to undo it, you just got to pull that stick out, and it's a quick release knot. Alright, and so for this end we're just going to make a trucker's hitch knot. So I've just got the ridge line here, just want to create a loop, and then through that loop grab that line and just tighten it off. So you made a more of a permanent fixed loop. And then run the line around the tree, put the line back through that loop. And then you just want to pull down tight on that. And just tie it off. Yeah, so good thing about this knot is you make it really nice and taut. So we'll get the top on it now. Well, it's a pretty good looking campsite if you ask me. I'm loving the banksias and the burrowangs in the background as well. It's sort of added into a very prehistoric looking campsite. Yeah, pretty happy with tonight's camp. So I'm just going to take a bit of a breather, get some water into me, have a bit of bite to eat, and then we'll get the spear gun and we'll go out and see if we can get ourselves something for dinner. Right, now, watch out for snakes, eh? Walking around in thongs in the middle of summer, a little bit sketchy. But anyway, I've got my spear gun now, so let's go see if we can learn ourselves something for dinner. Well, there's dinner for tonight. A nice little black drummer. It's not the biggest drummer in the world, but he's just legal length, which is good. And from what I've heard, black drummers are quite tasty as well, so pretty keen to see how it goes once I cook him up. But there was a nice little spearfish just then. I was out there for at least 2.5 hours, fair while. It's just nice to sort of get out of the heat and spend some time in the ocean, which is really good. Water was absolutely gorgeous. But unfortunately, the visibility was pretty poor, and there wasn't a whole lot of fish around either. Saw a few decent sized morlong, but unfortunately a little bit too far away and I couldn't get them. Also came across a good school of luderick, but it was sort of when I first dived in the water I saw them, and I was expecting to come across a lot more fish, so I just let them be. But in hindsight I probably should have got one of those because they're quite tasty and they're pretty decent sized ones as well, but still pretty stoked with this little catch. But yeah, hope you guys are enjoying this spearfishing video. It's a little bit different to what I usually do. But I'm getting into spearfishing a fair bit over the last month or two and really enjoying it as well. And on days like today where it's quite hot, there's nothing worse than hiking up a mountain, so it's nice to come to the coast and just enjoy the beautiful coast and yeah, get out in the water and catch my own dinner. So there's no better way to do it, and the main thing is just getting out here and just enjoying the beautiful Aussie bush. I know some of you guys aren't going to be the biggest fans of the spearfishing videos, which I understand, but I'm enjoying doing it, and yeah, as long as it gets me out in the bush, that's the main thing. So yeah, hopefully you guys do enjoy it. I won't do a whole lot of them, I just do them every now and then, just to mix things up a little bit. But I do love the coast. I live on the coast and I've spent so much of my life just exploring the coast. So it'd be nice to try and show you guys a bit more of it, because I tend to film a lot more in the mountains than I do on the coast, but it'd be nice to try and mix it up a bit more in the future, I think. But next course of action, let's get some firewood and then we'll get a fire going and we'll cook this guy up. Well, we've got a little snake here, guys. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, it's a little brown snake. I'm not sure if it's an eastern brown snake, but if it is, then it means he's extremely venomous. Eastern browns are one of the most venomous snakes in Australia, I'm pretty sure. But from what I've heard, well, there he goes underneath the leaves. Yeah, the small ones are the ones you gotta be worried about, because they don't quite know how powerful their venom is. And so when they do bite you, they inject a lot of venom into them. It looks like his tail's been knocked off at the back there. Yeah, as long as he keeps his distance, I'll keep mine too. Alright, so just with the fire, obviously it was quite a warm day today. I checked the Rural Fire Services website and there is no total fire ban for today. And I also checked the National Parks website and there is no park fire ban for this park. So there's no bans whatsoever, I just want to clear that up. But obviously it was quite a warm day today, so we want to be as safe as possible. And honestly, I'm just going to have a tiny fire just to cook my fish, and as soon as I've cooked my fish, that fire's going straight out. And so the correct way to sort of have a fire and have it safely is to clear the earth for about 2 metre perimeter right around the fire. Get it right back to the bare earth, get rid of all the leaf litter, so that way if any do sparks fly out, they just hit bare earth and they'll go out straight away. So that's a priority. And then also, once you finish with the fire, make sure it's out. Right, well there you go, so bare earth for about a 2 metre circumference, so that's going to keep things nice and contained and we shouldn't have any issues, so let's get it going. So here we got a Banksia serrata, or an old man Banksia, and it's got its dried spent flowers, which are these things just here. They're also all over the ground, and these are great fire starters, so I'll use that to get the fire going. So just using my Bushman from Core Knife and Tool. So sometimes you can manage to get these started with a ferro rod. So we just break that up a little bit, try and expose some of those inner fibres and stuff. Sometimes it'll take a spark. Not every time, but sometimes. So let's see how it goes. Oh, there we go. Nice. Alright, we'll just build up a few coals now and then we'll get the fish on. Alright, so I'm just going to cook this guy whole. So I'm just going to put some lemon on it. Also some butter. This butter is so melted. Actually, I probably should have smeared that on first, shouldn't I? So just pop that lemon back on. Alright, well the fish is almost done, so let's just get some broccolini on now. I had a bloke who hated me stirring with a knife, so he carved me up a little spoon. It was pretty nice of him. What do they say? You stir with a knife, you stir up strife. Alright, I think they're about done now. I reckon one of the most useful uses of one of these shamags is honestly just as a tablecloth, just to keep the sand out of everything. Because most places I go are incredibly sandy soil. Ooh, alright, the moment of truth. I'm hoping not too much sand got in there. Just a few little puncture wounds in the foil. Ooh, that is looking pretty good. Oh, smells good too. Let's get him the right way around. Oh, yum. That's really nice. That's really nice though. Doesn't taste fishy at all. A few small bones here and there, but nothing I can't work with. Oh, yum. There's no better way than just eating what you catch, eh? Living off the land like this, that is what life is really about, I reckon. Alright, well, I might wrap it up here now. It's probably about 8:30, the sun's just setting now. There's a little bit of colour in the sky, but not too much. It's actually a little bit cloudy. I'm hoping it cools down a little bit, because I'm still pretty hot and bothered today. Hopefully there's not too many mozzies around, and hopefully I can get a half decent sleep tonight. So anyway, I'll leave it here. I'll see you guys in the morning. Man, that was pretty cool. I was just sitting down really still, just eating my brekkie, and I just saw the fox coming closer and closer, so I grabbed the camera and yeah, sure enough, he didn't even see me till he was like 2 meters away, so I managed to get some pretty good footage of him. Which is a nice little close encounter with a fox. It's probably the closest I've ever been to a fox. Unfortunately, fox is a huge pest in Australia and they just absolutely decimate the local wildlife, so as much as it's cool to have an encounter like that, it's still, I'd rather not see them out here because yeah, just any marsupial they come across, they just kill. So it's a bit of a shame that we sort of have as many feral animals as we do, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. But anyway, good morning guys. It's a beautiful morning to wake up to here. Such a lovely sunny day and just such a gorgeous campsite around here. I'm absolutely loving this place, eh? Just all the burrowangs and the banksias, and it's just a very sort of prehistoric looking campsite, just all the burrowangs in the background. I really like it. It's probably one of my favourite campsites I've been to in a while. But I'm just finishing off my brekkie, so After that, I might go look for some bush tucker, might just have a look around the area, might go for a swim. Honestly, don't have much of a plan, so yeah, we'll just see how we go. Alright, so I know I spoke about the Banksia integrifolia, or the coastal Banksia in my last video, but these Banksias around here are called the sawtooth Banksias, or a Banksia serrata, or it can also be called an old man Banksia. The reason it's called a Banksia serrata is because on the edges of the leaves, it's got these little saw-like teeth going down them, so that's how it gets its name. The reason I wanted to show you this though is because this one's in flower, whereas the coastal Banksia wasn't in flower last time. But yeah, this produces nice big yellow flowers, and yeah, it's got nectar inside them, so if you soak them in water, you can often create a nice sweet drink from it. But apart from that, it's pretty much got the same uses as the coastal Banksia, which means edible grubs inside the trunk and the branches, edible seeds from the cones. The timber's great for cooking fires, like the timber burns really well, and one of the things I like the most about it is what I showed you guys yesterday, the fact that when the flowers dry up, they're great for tinder. So if you strike a ferro rod with that, you can get a flame nice and easily, and it's yeah, a good way to start the fire. Yeah, so that's a sawtooth Banksia. So let's go see if we can find some more bush tucker around here. Alright, so I've got behind me, it's called a barrowang, and I absolutely love these plants. They're a very prehistoric looking plant. You can almost imagine a little dinosaur running through here. But yeah, generally find them on the south coast, and they're in these big groves, so when you find them they're just absolutely everywhere. There's hundreds of them. But they are a bush tucker plant, but a big disclaimer is they're highly toxic, so don't even go near them. But yeah, they produce these big green kind of pineapple like seed cones, and yeah, indigenous folk back in the day would yeah, do a very prolonged and intensive treatment to make them edible. So they'd sort of pound up the seeds and then soak them and leach them in water to try and leach all that toxins out for up to 2 weeks, and constantly changing the water as well. And yeah, and then after they do that, they then cook it, and then you can eat it. But it's a very intensive process, and one that's yeah, not taken lightly. So it's definitely recommended not to try and eat them. But it's a cool plant to point out, and I really enjoy sort of camping amongst them. It just yeah, adds for a very prehistoric looking campsite. How's this? So this tree's fallen over, and you got the trunk laying along there, but it's just shooting up all these new sort of little trees. They're not even branches, they're like actual little trees. How good's that? Where there's a will, there's a way. Well, look what I just found. Nice little grass tree. This is a shame. I wish I found it yesterday, Arvo. It's right behind camp as well. But it's got a fair few of these flower spikes just laying around. Really nice and straight, and perfect diameter as well. So I wish I could have done, yeah, used these yesterday, Arvo, to try and get the fire started. Because that is yeah, what grass trees are best known for. Is they're probably one of the best timbers in Australia to use for fire by friction. And this is a really good one, nice and straight and pretty thin. Oh, it's a shame, but oh well. I'm sure this won't be the last time we come back to this place, so I'll save them for next time. Man, I'm absolutely loving the bushland around here. It's got a Bengalay sand forest, and yeah, it's just a really beautiful bushland to explore. You always find these Bengalay sand forests behind sand dunes along the coast, and that right there is a Bengalay, for those who don't know. There's a few little useful things about that tree as well. Indigenous folks, they'd make canoes out of that, and also use the bark to make their gunyahs, or their bark shelters. But it's starting to heat up now, so I'm probably going to get camp back down now, and then we'll start making our way out of here, and probably go for a swim on the way back. Alright, well, camp's all packed up and the fire's been taken care of. Honestly, as soon as I get rid of my bag, it looks like no one's ever here, and that's exactly how you want it to be. So on that note, let's make our way back. Alright guys, well that's another trip done and dusted. I just want to say a big thanks to all you guys watching. I know it's a little bit different this video, but on a beautiful weekend like this, there's no better way to enjoy it than just to come out to the coast and do a little bit of spearfishing. So I've really enjoyed it, so I hope you guys have as well. So anyway, just want to say a big thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hooroo.